You woke up this morning with everything: a roof over your head, food in your fridge, a phone in your hand with access to every song ever written, every movie ever made, every person you have ever known. And somewhere in the middle of all of it, you felt something you could not quite name: a low hum of dissatisfaction, a sense that something is missing, a feeling that despite everything you have, something is not quite right. You are not alone in that feeling, and you are not broken. But here is the thing that should genuinely stop you. An ancient human who had none of what you have: no roof, no fridge, no phone, no security, no guarantee of survival from one day to the next, was almost certainly happier than you. Not slightly happier, significantly happier, and the science behind why that is true will change the way you think about everything you are chasing. Let's start with the most uncomfortable fact. Happiness researchers have a term called the hedonic treadmill. It describes something the human brain does automatically that nobody ever tells you about. Every time you get something you wanted, your brain adjusts its baseline. The thing you thought would make you happy becomes the new normal. And then you need something more to feel the same level of satisfaction. You get the job, you feel great for a few weeks, then the job becomes normal and you need a promotion. You get the promotion, you feel great for a few weeks, then the promotion becomes normal and you need a bigger salary. You get the bigger salary, you feel great for a few weeks, then the salary becomes normal and you need a better house. There is no arrival point on the hedonic treadmill. There is only the running. Ancient humans were not on the treadmill because they were not chasing anything that could be accumulated. They were not comparing themselves to what they could have. They had what they had. And psychological research consistently shows that when you are not comparing your life to an alternative version of it, the baseline level of life satisfaction is significantly higher. But that is only the beginning, because the science of ancient human happiness goes much deeper than just the absence of the hedonic treadmill. The first reason ancient humans were happier is movement. Your body was not built to sit still. It was built to move constantly. Walk, run, crouch, climb, carry, throw. For 200,000 years, the human body spent most of its waking hours in motion, and then approximately 10,000 years ago, farming began. And 200 years ago, the Industrial Revolution came. And now the average person sits for more than 9 hours every single day. And here is what that does to the brain. Physical movement triggers the release of dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a chemical that literally grows new brain cells and is one of the most powerful natural antidepressants ever studied. Ancient humans triggered this response all day long without trying, just by living. Walking to find food, running from danger, carrying resources back to camp. Every single one of those activities was flooding the ancient brain with chemicals that modern humans pay therapists and take medication to try to replicate. Movement was not exercise for ancient humans. Movement was life, and the absence of movement in modern life is one of the most significant contributors to the epidemic of anxiety and depression that characterizes the modern world. The second reason is sleep. Ancient humans slept with the sun. When it got dark, they wound down. When it rose, they woke up. Their sleep was governed entirely by natural light, and natural light-governed sleep is extraordinarily deep, restorative, and aligned with the human body's biological rhythms in a way that artificially lit modern sleep simply is not. Research on modern hunter-gatherer groups has found that they experience significantly lower rates of insomnia, sleep disorders, and sleep-related anxiety than people in industrialized societies. Not because they have better mattresses, because their brains are not fighting against artificial light, screen time, late-night stimulation, and the low-grade anxiety of unfinished tasks that follows modern humans into their bedrooms every night. Ancient humans went to sleep when it was dark, and they slept. The third reason is community, and this is the biggest one. Modern humans are the loneliest humans who have ever existed. Studies consistently show that loneliness is now one of the most significant predictors of poor mental health, physical illness, and early death in the developed world. And loneliness is a modern invention. Ancient humans were never alone. They lived in groups of 20 to 30 people, pressed together, sleeping together, eating together, working together, playing together. There was no concept of going home to an empty apartment. There was no such thing as eating alone. There was no such thing as spending a weekend without meaningful human contact. Every single day of an ancient human's life was spent embedded in a web of relationships so deep and constant that modern humans literally cannot imagine what that feels like. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar spent decades studying human social groups and found that the human brain evolved specifically for a social group size of around 150 people. A group where you know everyone, where everyone knows you, where your life is witnessed by people who have known you since you were born. Modern city dwellers live surrounded by millions of people and have genuine relationships with almost none of them. The human brain was not built for that. It was built for a village. And when you remove it from that village and place it in an anonymous crowd, something breaks. The fourth reason is purpose. Ancient humans never asked the question that causes more modern suffering than perhaps any other question. What is the point? Because the point was obvious, immediate, biological. Find food, stay safe, protect the people you love, make it through the day. These are not small purposes. They are the most fundamental purposes any living creature can have. And when you achieve them, when you find the food and get home safely and sit around the fire with the people you love, the sense of satisfaction is complete, not partial. Not tainted by the question of whether you could have done more or whether what you did actually matters. Complete. Modern humans have solved the survival problem, and in doing so have created a vacuum where purpose used to live. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps, wrote that a human being can endure almost any how if they have a why. Ancient humans always had a why, and it never required a therapist to help them find it. The fifth reason is presence. Ancient humans could not be anywhere other than where they were. There was no news feed showing them what was happening somewhere else. There was no social media showing them how other people were living. There was no calendar filled with future obligations creating low-grade anxiety about next week. There was only now. The fire in front of them, the person beside them, the food in their hands. This is what mindfulness researchers spend decades trying to teach modern humans to do for 5 minutes a day. Ancient humans did it by default, because there was nothing else to be present to. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi studied what he called flow states, moments of complete absorption in the present moment where time disappears and life feels most worth living. He found that modern humans experience flow rarely. Ancient humans, based on everything we know about their daily lives, lived in something close to continuous flow, because nothing they did was rushed, nothing was measured, nothing had a deadline. And here is the thing that ties all of this together. Happiness researchers have identified 5 things that consistently predict high life satisfaction across every culture they have ever studied. Movement, sleep, community, purpose, presence. Ancient humans had all 5 by default, built into the structure of their daily lives without trying. Modern humans have to consciously pursue all 5 against the current of a civilization that is actively pulling them in the opposite direction. This does not mean ancient life was better. Ancient humans died young. They suffered from disease and injury and violence in ways that modern medicine has largely eliminated. You would not choose ancient life, but understanding why ancient humans were happier is not about going back. It is about understanding what your brain actually needs, and then building a modern life that gives it more of that. More movement, more genuine community, more purposeful work, more sleep aligned with natural rhythms, more presence and less distraction. Not perfectly, not completely, but more. Because somewhere inside your brain right now, the ancient human who built it is still there, still scanning for the things that actually made life feel worth living, still waiting for you to come home,